Hey everyone, Sojan here. I'm going to be talking about my top 10 Nintendo Switch games, so let's go ahead and dive into it. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon for notifications in order to see when I upload and stream my videos. Follow me on Twitter at Sojan_Netos down below in the description to receive notifications as to when I'll be uploading and streaming in the future. So it took me a little while to come up with a top 10 list of Nintendo Switch games. Shout out to my friend Daniel, who is a part of my Dan Plays series on my channel. Definitely check those videos out. I'll try to leave a link in the description below for the playlist. He suggested that I make this next Sojan Talks About video, or Sojan Discusses video, about my top favorite Nintendo Switch games. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and dive into the list of games that I came up with the pros and cons of each game, starting with 10th place all the way to first place being my absolute top most favorite Switch game out of all of them. Some of them may not be Nintendo Switch exclusive, however, all these games on this list I have experienced fully for the first time on the Nintendo Switch. So at number 10, I picked Mega Man 11. The pros of Mega Man 11 are that it has good music, good level music. It's really nice. It's nostalgic for me. Kind of has a similar feel to older Mega Man games and some newer as well, including Mega Man and Bass, which I know a lot of Mega Man fans out there are going to say Mega Man and Bass is very hard and they don't like it. I personally enjoy Mega Man and Bass. It was extremely hard, but I was able to beat it. And Mega Man 11 so far is a lot of fun. The only cons I see about Mega Man 11 is that it can be very hard at first and very unfair with the platforming, and without the knowledge of the boss's weaknesses, it could get very hard fast. However, with a simple Google search and searching which bosses are weak to other bosses' techniques that you get and what order you should do it properly in, it becomes more fun and easier to play down the road. At number 9, I picked Pokemon Shield. The pros of Pokemon Shield are that it's a brand new Pokemon adventure. The Pokemon look kind of cool. They are different. However, with the pros, it does come with some cons that are more cons than pros, in my opinion. That the game holds your hand the entire way. It's a little too easy, and I personally think that the giant Pokemon are kind of stupid. I don't know. When it comes to Pokemon evolutions in general, the Mega Evolutions from Pokemon X and Y and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire and Pokemon Omega Ruby are the ones that I really liked, because that was kind of like a super transformation, just actually transforming them into a really cool, badass, like, newer transformation. This one's all like kaiju, like just making them bigger, which, I don't know, I think it's kind of silly. I don't like it that much. However, overall, Pokemon Shield is definitely worth playing, in my opinion. At number 8, I picked Kingdom Hearts Melody and Memories. The pros about Kingdom Hearts Melody and Memories is that it's got fantastic music, great music from all the games. If you played every single game like I have, the music is nostalgic and it's just amazing to play it. It's fun with friends. You can actually play multiplayer with other friends of yours. And post-game is much better with all the songs. And you can change the song difficulties mid-game, which makes things easier. So let's say you picked a harder difficulty and you're like, man, this song is really hard. You just temporarily switch it to the easiest mode and beat the song, and it counts, which is kind of cool. The cons of Kingdom Hearts Melody and Memories is that it's expensive. Honestly, like at the starting price of $59.99 when it first came out, that's a little too expensive for a Melody-related game. In my honest opinion, it really should have released at $39.99 and then eventually gone down to $29.99 for a brand new game. However, it started off at $59.99 and currently right now it's at $49.99. I think it's still too expensive. I would wait for that game to go on sale on the eShop personally. Another con is that it's tedious when starting. It can be tedious at times with certain songs, especially when you've played Kingdom Hearts as much as I have, and the level music can get annoying. Some of the level music from certain older games can get really repetitive, especially when you played the older games. So when revisiting those songs, it's like, ugh, I don't really care for it. And it can be very hard with certain songs. It depends on the difficulty, but you can change the difficulty, which is nice. At number 7, I picked Clubhouse Games. Originally, Clubhouse Games, I didn't like the sound of it at first with board games on the Nintendo Switch, but I gave it a chance, and I actually fell in love with this game. The pros of having Clubhouse Games is that it's fun with friends. You literally play for hours, and no matter where you are, as long as you have your Nintendo Switch with at least 2 Joy-Cons, you can easily just put it on a table with the kickstand, take out the 2 Joy-Cons, and play some 2-player board games on the go on your Nintendo Switch with your friends, which is really nice. The cons, however, are that this game is rather expensive. When it first came out, it was way too expensive. I think it was around like $40 or $50 when it first came out. I can't remember. At the time I bought it, it was $30. It keeps going down in price, so I would wait for it to go on sale. It was, at the time, expensive when I got it. Friends need to have their own copy to play other games on the game card, which brings me to the fact that the game limits you to which games can be played in certain ways, which is annoying. It says 51 games in one. However, there's a lot of games that you can't even play unless you have 3 other friends that have a cartridge in each system, which can get very expensive fast. And that is the downside of it. However, it is an overall fun experience. And number 6, I picked Dragon Quest Builders 2. Keep in mind, Dragon Quest Builders 2, I haven't really dove fully into this game just yet. I just got it, so this is my first impression of the game. The pros is that it's a lot like Minecraft, but with a story mode, an actual story mode. And the music is very nice as well. I love the music. If you're a fan of Minecraft and you like a story, it's definitely worth picking up. The only cons I found is that there are really not too many cons so far. However, the only con I can really find is that you can't just start the game like Minecraft, in creative mode and do whatever you want. You can't really just start it and start punching trees. You have to go through a tutorial. But I can't really consider that 100% a con, because once you get into it, it's really, really fun. And number 5, I picked Dragon Quest XI, another game that I just started. But I had to pick this game because my first impressions are really good about this game. The pros about this game so far is that it has an amazing story. It definitely grabs my attention and makes me want to know what's going to happen. It also has a fully explorable world. You can get lost easily in this game, which will bring me to a con about that later. But a fully explorable world, you can explore everywhere, basically. Another pro is that it has a 3D and 2D experience. You can choose 2D mode every time you save the game, which is kind of cool, nostalgic, kind of makes it look like an older NES game, or play 3D mode, however you prefer. Personally, I've never played any Dragon Quest games before except for this one and Builders, so I just play it in 3D mode. However, whenever I replay it in the future, I will be playing it in 2D. Another pro, of course, is the music. The music of the game is really nice. It's definitely worth listening through as you play. It's relaxing. The cons of this game is that you can easily get lost. There are times I found myself just literally looking around for almost a couple hours, just trying to figure out where to go with vague information, and then eventually finding out, I literally got to talk to everybody. And number 4, I picked Mario Odyssey. Mario Odyssey is definitely a beautiful game. Pros are, it's a beautiful, beautiful Mario game. It looks gorgeous to look at, especially the city level. It is definitely amazing to look at. I like the fact that you can change Mario's outfits, which is kind of cool too. Fully explorable worlds. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of like mini sandboxes. I definitely recommend picking up this game and playing it. My only con is that it's not like Super Mario Sunshine. I personally like Mario Sunshine just a bit more, just because it has an overall fully explorable one main area, and then you could go to each level. I kind of like that platform instead, but that's just me. I don't know. I can't really compare the two as they are vastly different games. So moving on. At 3rd place, I picked Kirby Star Allies. Kirby Star Allies pro is it's a short game, which can also be a con. which I'll get to that. Which, honestly, the only con with Kirby Star Allies, I'm just going to get that out of the way, is that it's a short game. It can be a con for some people, but for me, it's a pro. It's a short game. You can get through it pretty quickly in several hours, but it has great replayability with yourself and your friends. It's a lot of fun. It's got multiplayer that you can do at any given time. You could be in the middle of a level. You could be in the middle of playing, and your friend comes over, and you don't want to stop playing, and you're like, hey, jump in. They grab an extra controller, and they just pick one of the characters, and they start playing with you. That's how amazing it is, and I really, really like that a lot. Another pro is that it also has nostalgic music. Music reminds me a lot of older Kirby games, and it's just relaxing to hear. Final pro is that it's not too hard and it's not too easy. It doesn't hold your hand the entire game, but it does teach you certain things. Some things you can kind of figure it out. I mean, sometimes it does hold your hand, but it's not too bad. It can be challenging sometimes, and sometimes it can seem like a little too easy, but it's overall a fun experience, especially when playing with your friends or by yourself. At second place, I had to pick Undertale. I know a lot of you guys are probably going to argue saying, oh, that's a Steam game. How could you pick that game? That's not Nintendo Switch related. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I'm picking Nintendo Switch games that I personally have played on the Nintendo Switch for the first time ever. Undertale, I have fully experienced Undertale on the Nintendo Switch for the first time. So that is why I'm picking it for the Switch. The pros, definitely the storyline. The storyline is amazing. Like, wow, it grabs you. Like, especially, it makes you feel bad when you make bad decisions, and it makes you feel really good about good decisions. Like, I really love this game. And, oh, yes, another pro, the music. The music is just nostalgic. It's a feeling, even though I don't know why. It just feels nostalgic, and it's amazing. It's beautiful sounding. I highly recommend this game overall. And the gameplay is also another pro, which I gotta say, the gameplay is actually pretty fun. It makes you think, especially when you are going for a more passive route. The cons are also the gameplay. The gameplay at times can be a bit confusing and tedious. Some people may not like it, and I can see why. And especially when it comes to the genocide run, you're just basically attacking, and it could just get boring over time. However, in my honest opinion, the gameplay turns out to be a pro when you are doing a peaceful route. Another con is that sometimes it can be confusing as to where you go, especially later in the game. You can get lost easily, especially if you're not paying attention like I wasn't at times. However, it's not too hard to figure out where you got to go. Also, another con is that the last several bosses of the game are very, very hard, especially the final boss. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but they can be very, very hard. And last but not least, at number one pick, it took me a while to decide on this. I was actually going back and forth between Kirby Star Allies and the number one game that I actually picked. However, I have to give the number one spot to Zelda Breath of the Wild. I know this is probably in a lot of people's number one list, but I have reasons why I picked this. Number one reason is because the pros are, it's a huge explorable world. Like, it's not only a huge explorable world, but it's a type of explorable world where everything is done in a smart way. Like, you can actually figure out where things are by paying attention and talking to people, and it doesn't feel tedious when doing it. I've poured so many hours into this game to the point where I put it down and I'm like, I'm going to give it a day's break. Not even like 10 hours later, and I'm already jumping back on it and itching to play. And I just got to say, it's done very well. Another pro is the music. The music is so relaxing. It's so surreal. It's an experience you have to experience yourself. Another pro is that it's not too hard to get lost with the map because the map is done in a smart way. There are even map guides online that teach you where every little thing is if you're impatient like I am. It's an overall beautiful and gorgeous game. The cons are that it's definitely hard to start at first. You got to be careful where you go because you can easily be killed in one shot. However, it gets easier later on in the game. Another con is that it is going to be a lot of hours that you pour into this game. So it's going to take up a lot of your time. So if there are a bunch of other games that you want to play, and you feel overwhelmed, I don't know if this would be the game for you, but If you don't mind playing hours here and there on the game, take your time with it. Don't be in a rush to beat it. It's definitely a game worth exploring fully through and not worrying about beating it anytime soon. Another con is that there are skills that are needed for this game. You need to get skillful and learn some skills that will help you, such as parrying with the shield. Basically deflecting beams at the guardians with your shield. That takes some time and practice. And there's just several skills that are definitely added to this game. So all in all, I'm going to go ahead and do a recap. Number 10, I had Mega Man 11. Which Mega Man 11, honestly, even though I haven't fully beaten the game so far, I have to give Mega Man 11 a 7 out of 10. Only because you have to learn the weaknesses of the bosses. Pokemon Shield, I definitely give Pokemon Shield a 7.5 out of 10. It's a little too easy in my opinion. Kind of hold your hand, but it's definitely a brand new Pokemon experience, and it's still a fun game. Number 8, Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memories. Unfortunately, even though I am a Kingdom Hearts fan, I have to give Melody of Memories a 7 out of 10 as well. Only because it's not worth the price. It's definitely a fun game to play, definitely fun to play the music and everything, but it's so vastly different from the other Kingdom Hearts games, and it's kind of dumb that they require you to buy this game just to add more to the lore post-game after Kingdom Hearts 3 with the finale, with the final level, which is kind of dumb, but I don't know. I have to give that game a 7 out of 10 as well. Clubhouse Games, I definitely give it a solid 8 out of 10. I would give it a higher rating if you were able to access all the other games without having to have friends buy their own games as well. I was thinking about giving it a lower rating because of that, but I have to give it an 8 out of 10 because it's definitely a worth it game. Dragon Quest Builders 2, it's still too early to give it a proper rating, but my first impressions rating for Dragon Quest Builders 2 is definitely an 8.5 out of 10. My first impressions on Dragon Quest 11, definitely a 9 out of 10, but that's my first impressions rating. It's not my full rating. Eventually, someday, once I finally beat these games and everything, I'll come up with a more updated list later in the year. Another recap is for Mario Odyssey. Mario Odyssey, I definitely am giving an 8.5 out of 10. It is definitely a great, fully explorable game. It doesn't give me the same feels that I get when I play Mario Sunshine. However, it is definitely an excellent game to pick up. Kirby Star Allies, I definitely have to give a close 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 only because I would have given it a higher rating if the game was just a bit longer, but however, for 9 out of 10, it's still really good for this game because it's still pretty short to play. You could play multiplayer with your friends at any given time. Definitely worth picking up. Undertale, just as it is in general, as far as gameplay, story, music, everything, Undertale, I have to give it a 9.5 out of 10. It is definitely a fantastic experience. Even though, yes, the final bosses can be very, very hard, it is definitely a worth it to pick up game. Breath of the Wild, definitely a 9.5 out of 10 as well. It is just such a fantastic game. So with all that being said, guys, these are my personal opinions. Go ahead and comment below. Let me know what your favorite Nintendo Switch games are. Let me know if you disagree with me at all, and yeah, let's get discussions going. So if there are any future videos of anything you want me to talk about, go ahead and let me know in the comments below, and I'll definitely consider. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have an awesome one. Be safe, and bye-bye.